Hello, everyone. Johnny Rose and Bully Boy Carter here, doing the job on a Wednesday, Territory Day. Bully Boy Carter's pick, and from his wall hanging of NWA Territory pictures, he's chosen Big Time Wrestling, NWA Detroit. Was
Um,
that the main reason why you picked it? Because it was just on your wall.
well, no, I thought about it before I looked at the wall, and when I thought I'll have a look at the wall and see if there's something else. But I thought, you know what, now I'll go with that. But I went with them as well because I know fuck all about them. Like it's not like something I've ever really watched before. So rather than go with someone I'm familiar with, I thought I'd go there. So
I hadn't seen a lot of it. Maybe one or two episodes on YouTube or bits of, like, the odd match here and there. And there's a match from there that I've got on a video, like a compilation video, where there's like I think they called it like a shark cage match or something. There's like,
all right,
like
yeah,
tiny cages, like that look
yeah.
like the cages that they roll into the back of Tesco's. Like them.
I,
One of them, and they're sort of wrestling in that little cage. I can't remember who's in it, but I just remember the red ring,
right.
the canvas. I remember that. So yeah. So yeah, this is probably the most I've seen of this area, like ever, in one go sort of thing. It ran from 1945 to 1980, so that's quite a stretch, isn't it? Various owners through the time. 45 to 59 was Harry Light, Jack Britton, and Bert Ruby. Now, I'd never heard of Bert Ruby, and then I saw some pictures on a Facebook page and sort of added the Facebook page, and it's a Bert Ruby Promotions Facebook page, which is pretty cool and nice to see, the old faces and posters and stuff. 59 to 64 was Jim Barnett and Johnny Doyle. Jim Barnett's pretty fucking, synonymous with wrestling, isn't he?
Yeah.
And then 64 to 80 was Francis Flesser and Ed Farr, the Sheik, basically took it over in 64. 64 to 80, they called it Worldwide Sports. That was their sort of company name.
Right, okay.
In 1948, Harry Light joined the NWA to start it up in the first place. So he was, one of the first at that point. The 50s, they got TV. 59, they had Frank Tunney as a financial backer.
All right, okay.
The Sheik took over in 64 and won the NWA US. The NWA had one world champion, didn't it, right? But as far as the other championships was concerned, they had fucking several. Several territories had NWA world tag team champions, or US champions. Whereas there was only one fucking world champion, wasn't there? So the NWA US champion in Detroit, he won that 12 times. So that's having a territory and putting yourself over, isn't it? In the 70s, they faced competition from Dick the Bruiser, who ran All Star Wrestling in Indiana.
Yeah, I read about it.
I don't know my American geography very well, but that's, must be pretty close. 73 to 75, there was a big recession apparently, so they sort of struggled through that. And then in the 1980, they went out of business. In 1985, there was a mockumentary apparently made called "I Like to Hurt People," which I have got on a DVD, but I've never watched it.
I've heard of that.
It was based on this territory.
Right, okay.
There was no real shows in Detroit then until the WWF boom when they went there.
Right, okay.
They also had their own version of the NWA World Tag Titles. Some of the names, though, I mean, there's some fucking big names through here. Abdullah the Butcher, Bobo Brazil, Haystacks Calhoun, all the Punks, Ernie Ladd, Mighty Igor, George Steele, Fritz von Erich. That's just a few of them.
Yeah.
Big names, right? If I had to sum it up, it would be rough. Yeah. If I had to use one word to sum it up, it would be rough. Yeah. Not. I'm not necessarily saying that derogatory. I mean, it was fucking. None of it was pretty. It was a bit fucking hardcorey at times, but every area had its thing. I didn't find it that convincing, but it was super over, and that's all that counts, isn't it? You know what I mean?
Is,
They were cheering. Like, Bobo Brazil was in one of these, and fuck me, he was like babyface of the year, mega. Like the fucking pops he was getting was like no other.
What year was it that you watched?
What I watched was 76. What was yours?
Mine was 79, but like you're saying they went out of business in 80, judging by fucking my show, I'm not surprised, to be fair. But, like they were dead the year after, weren't they? Like 79,
Yeah.
mine was. And I'm guessing the heyday of their fucking big stars was a bit gone by 79, right. I'd imagine. Because
shall I do mine first? Because it's earlier. Like February 76 mine was. And it starts right off. They're in the ring, and it's a guy called Al Brazero, who they call the Super Mex, versus Pretty Boy Gary Fulton.
Okay.
Quite enjoyed this, to be fair. This was, like, for me, the best match on. Nice quick start, like lots of wrestling going on. Top wrist lock by Al. Reverse with the hair pull. There was lots of sort of, the dirty heel stuff with the top wrist lock and hair pull and tight pull and all that sort of stuff. Loads of that going on all the way through. We spoke about regional wrestling before, didn't we? And how things were sort of plugging the big shows that were live. Yeah. And the commentators were doing right good here, saying there's nothing quite like live wrestling. If you're enjoying it on TV, you need to see it live, blah, blah, blah.
Right,
love all that shit. This Gary Fulton, who I'd never seen before. I'd never seen either of them before, to be fair. But Gary Fulton was a proper good heel. The psychology was really good. And this Al Brazero Supermex was very sort of lucha-y, like quicker, and reminded me of like a Hector Guerrero type.
Right.
Like in his style, and the little moustache and the mullet and that. He did a right good sort of roll and bridge reversal out of a wrist lock, like proper wrestling like. Towards the finish, there was like punch exchanges, and then Al fires up, and there's a backdrop and a dive that Al misses, and he hits the ropes as he misses. He sort of like fucking boings back. Then he fires up again, and there's like one of them Vader type splashes off the corner. Gary Fulton cuts him off with the eyeballs. He slows it all down at that point. And then during the slow sort of period, the commentators are talking about the NWA, and that Jack Adkison is the president of the NWA. That's Fritz, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know why, but they're like, they're all governed by the end of this show is governed by the NWA. Jack Adkison is the president. Yada yada. Anyway, the finish, literally out of nowhere, there's a roll up and a bridge. The same finish that. It's like a waistlock roll up, and then he sort of bridges over.
Right, yeah.
It's right good. And then I noticed when Al got out the ring, he went into the neck. There's another ring next to it, but that was all dark all the way through. So there's two rings next to each other. So I was figuring Battle Royal or something coming up, and there was. Then there's a shot of the commentator just chatting shit about what's coming up. Next up, Bobo Brazil. £298, big old boy. The fucking crowd are mental for Bobo Brazil, like nuts, like fucking road warrior fucking pops. Versus Michael Angelo, who is apparently Italian. A lot slower, this one, very much powerful, a power match. Bobo Brazil pretty much added all the way through. He looked fucking great, in shape and like, good looking geezer, simple, heat filled. The finish was what they called a cocoa butt, which was a fucking headbutt in reality. Not a lot to it, but he was over as fuck. Then there was a promo with a manager called something Clement. Didn't get the first name, but he was an
Right.
English. Well, he had an English accent, and he was talking about this dude called the Brute, who was fucking this Brute dude was like a a hairy ass bald fella who was fucking headbutting the fucking corner post outside the ring, and he was apparently the brass knuckles champion.
Right.
And this manager dude, Clement, was just putting him over on what a psychopath he was. And then in the ring we go for Hank the Money Man James versus the Brute.
Right.
And the manager, this Clement fella, says he'll give up $5,000 to anybody that beats to James if he beats the Brute.
Right. Okay.
The Brute quite literally fucking no-sells everything until Hank James headbutts him. But Hank James is a big black fella, and that just seems to be the rules that if you get headbutted by a black fella, you're going to sell it.
Oh.
That seemed to be the thing back then, didn't it? Then Brute's tied in the ropes. The manager's going fucking ape shit. Brute gets out the ropes and just fucking unloads on this Hank dude. Brute pulls like a gimmick out, very sort of Abdullah the Butchery, like something taped in, like tape, and he's fucking popping him in the chops with that. Out the ring on the table, proper Abdullah the Butcher sort of chic styly stuff. Back in goes Hank. He's got fucking no hope at this stage, Hank. That's what I'm thinking anyway. And Hank's counted out on the canvas, on the like a stand, like in boxing when they count him on the floor.
Oh yeah.
He's counted out on the floor like he's fucking just selling the shit because he's been poked in the head with his stick. This Brute still batters him all the way through. The manager's in fucking happy as Larry. Old Bobo Brazil comes in with a chair, saves the day. I've written rotten but super over. So for that reason, it's not rotten, is it?
Well, no. It's done its job.
It don't matter what you do if it gets over, does it? Next up, US Championship, which the commentators are putting over as a main event anywhere in the world. And they're two big names, to be fair. Well, at least two I've heard of, on a mainstream basis. US champion Mark Lewin, the Purple Haze, versus the Sheik, who had his manager Eddie Creechman with him. I'd seen Eddie Creechman, I think, on the Montreal tapes.
All right, okay.
Lewin's a big baby face here. The other times I've seen him, he's been a villain, like in the NWA with Kevin Sullivan and the like. The Sheik's doing all the praying shit in the middle of the ring to start with. Very fucking rugged match, like just punchy, kicky. Lewin with a sleeper. Creechman gets in, he gets a sleeper, and then the Sheik throws the fireball at Lewin, but whilst he's got Creechman, his manager, in the sleeper. So fucking they both go down. As they go down, Lewin pops the fucking referee, so he's down now as well. So the fire's hit everybody. The fucking ring, Lewin's hit the fucking referee dead. Lewin goes out the ring as he's selling the fire, and he gets counted out. And we've got a new US champion. One of his 12 reigns is the Sheik from a count out. So clearly you could win on a count out or disqualification or whatever there. 8 minutes and 35 the time was called that. And then the last one was the 2-ring battle royal. Now this is fucked up. Okay, so the rules of this, right? Now, I needed to write it down because I would never have fucking got me. It sounds simple, but when you see it, it's not fucking simple at all. So there's 2 rings. Everybody starts in what we'll call ring 1. Yeah.
Right.
Now the idea of the game is that you throw them from ring 1 to ring 2, and then there's another battle royal. Then would go on with the people in ring 2,
right,
outside the ring. That's how I read it. How I understood it. And then the winner of ring 1 would then wrestle the winner of ring 2 at a later date. I think I got my head around that. But they were throwing them out the ring onto the floor from ring 1, and that was it. So clearly the rules aren't fucking that simple. Some of the people in it didn't make out everybody. You know, it's very fast, and the names were called quick, and I couldn't make out who the fuck was in. Andre was in it. Bobo Brazil, Chris Colt, The Brute, Al Brazero, Chris Taylor, Dominic DeNucci, Chris Markoff, Kurt Von Hess. They're the ones I've got. Any old road up. The Brute is the first into ring 2. So he gets fucking eliminated. Eliminated, but it's sent into ring 2 right early. The commentator says there's £6,000 worth of wrestler in the ring. That's a lot of beef, isn't it? So anyone that goes into ring 2 then gets it like a second chance in essence, don't they?
Yeah.
So then fucking people are getting lobbed in to ring 2 fucking willy-nilly, but the Brute's there, and as soon as they're in, the Brute fucks them off. So the Brute's in there on his ones. Bobo and Andre are the last 2 in ring 1.
Right.
And they're like 2 baby faces. They do the tackles thing. Nobody moves. I mean, Andre was big, don't get me wrong, but this is 1976 big rather than the, 86 big. So, he could move real well here.
Mm.
And Bobo, in fairness, wasn't a great deal smaller. Even no sell was the fucking Bobo Brazil headbutt. They're headbutting each other, nothing. And then the Brute's going fucking mental, like he's doing all shaking and fucking slobbering, and his tongue's going, and fucking he's headbutting the fucking ring post still. And Andre the Giant and Bobo go, whoa, look at that mad twat in there. And then they sort of get together, have a little hug. Andre climbs over the ropes and fucks off. He eliminates himself, meaning now Bobo has to wrestle the Brute, or should I say the Brute has to wrestle Bobo, really, isn't it? Because Andre's agreed to leave. Because ain't no way Andre was going to lose a battle royal. That's going to happen at another point. But really, I felt sorry for the poor fuckers that had to put that second ring up. It was fucking pointless. The match was, they called the time at the end, 6 minutes 32, right? And all the matches happened in the one ring. Yeah, they didn't even switch rings for the matches. All the matches happened in the one. And then the Brute went in, and then when anyone else came in, it was fucked off. It was probably used for 30 seconds of actual wrestling action. But yeah, that was big time wrestling. It was over as fuck. You can't knock it. It was over. Bobo was clearly the big star, and the Sheik was the big villain.
Right, yeah.
This Brute dude. In fairness, I wouldn't mind seeing the Brute against fucking Bobo, because I only ever seen the Brute really fucking batter that other dude. So I don't know, was Bobo going to go over on the Brute? I'd quite like to find out. I might find the next episode and just fucking go on that.
Oh.
Right, yours is 3 years after.
Yeah, right. So, mine, right. Hang on. Hope you're fucking sitting down for this one.
I'm ready.
So, we'll kick off, right? It is John Bonello.
John Brunello. Yeah, he refed for the WWF. He refed at WrestleMania 3.
Did he?
Yeah. And he was the NWA jobber.
Versus Bobby Colt.
Bobby Colt.
Yeah.
I know of a Chris Colt, but not Bobby Colt.
So, anyway, right. I don't fucking know where to start here. I'll start at the beginning. So they tie up. I don't know what the fuck to expect. I never heard of any of them. And none of them particularly looked like great. But Bobby Colt was the heel. So anyway, they tie up. They do a little bit of tech here and there. Fucking Colt, the heel, starts working on the leg and stuff. Hits him with a slam at some point. Then he gives him a knee drop and stuff. Whips him off. Fucking gives him a back elbow. Bonello like fights back. Whips him into the corner and does a really nice monkey flip. Then they go into like a knuckle lock. It starts off not so bad. And they go into a knuckle lock. Colt gives him a couple of kicks. He's in control. Fucking Bonello breaks the knuckle lock, gives him a pretty decent drop kick. Then an arm drag and starts working on the arm a little bit. So it's starting off not so bad. Like it's quite they go back and forth a bit, and it's actually a bit like a World of Sport match where there's not a specific, like there's a heel and a face, but there's not a specific fucking structure as such. It's like a back and forth like contest type. That's what it feels like to me anyway.
Sport, isn't it? Sport.
Yeah, and that's what it feels like. So it's not doing so bad. And then there's a full Nelson by Bonello, the face. Colt switches it. Fucking on Bonello, then he does that old fucking, the arse fucking bump into the stomach to break the, that's how he breaks it. Arm lock by Colt, like the heel. I've put here it's a very World of Sport type feel. How there's like no specific heat as such. It's like just a back and forth contest. Colt misses a knee drop from the second rope. Now this is where shit, like it didn't look that great. It was okay, like the start of the match, it was just nothing special, shall we say. And none of them looked like they were like polished fucking great workers. It's just a bit of a so-so start to a match. But anyway, this is where it goes a bit fucking topsy-turvy. So fucking Colt goes for a knee drop off the second rope and he misses it. Fucking Bonello moves out the way. So anyway, Bonello has the idea he's going to put a figure four leg lock on, right? Makes sense. Fucking Colt's just missed a knee drop from the second rope. So Bonello goes for the fucking figure four. But like halfway putting the figure four on, I think he realizes he doesn't know how to apply it. Because he's like,
it was a good idea at the time, and then
yeah.
in reality he was like, oh shit.
So he's putting it on and I've put he's no clue. So he's like, I tell you what, mate, we'll go for something else now. So he just totally forgets about the figure four idea he just had. And he's like, nah, it's not for me this. So yeah. So anyway, and then they do a little bit more, and then there's a small package by Bonello for the win. So yeah, it was like I have put it was awful. I think that might be, I don't know, a little harsh. It might not be the worst match I've ever watched, but it certainly was fucking pretty shitty. Like I say, it was like it had a World of Sport feel to it, but it like the execution just wasn't there. You know what I mean? Like it just didn't flow at all. It just felt a bit odd. And I mean, there's not always a structure to a match as such, but it just felt like odd. It just didn't feel like the crowds didn't seem to really care too much either. Like they were, and later on in the show, because it was like a 47-minute like program or whatever, the crowd seemed to get louder like as the show went on when they kind of seemed to know more about the people that were on. But these two, they just didn't really seem to give a shit, to be fair.
That's what wrestling was like that then, though, wasn't it? It was saving the best till last sort of thing.
Yeah.
And even TV, like going back to Memphis TV, there'll always be two sort of not necessarily heel or baby faces, sort of tweener types. I hate that word because, you're either one or the other or just a wrestler, really. But you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
and they just
I know.
Do their thing. It's a sort of say, right, this is what we're offering you. We're offering you a bit of wrestling. You'll get your fucking big names later. It's like the support actor fucking band, innit? Of a band. And, no one gives a fuck. But they know they're singing. We don't know what they're singing because we don't know the songs because we don't know who they are. We're just here to see Take That. You have to put up with it.
Yeah. So the next match, I actually enjoyed the next match. I can understand why people might not, but for me, it was all right. Like it was the Mighty Igor against John Davidson.
I know Mighty Igor.
Yeah, John Davidson was like, I a big like hillbilly type farm, like a hillbilly Jim type character, and he had someone with him who was some other Davison. He was like his brother, like outside, looked similar to him. So anyway, John Davidson, even though he's a big dude, like Mike Eagle's a big dude as well. John's like playing the chicken at the beginning, like a fucking, a bit of a chicken shit. So anyway, they go to tie up. He puts a waist lock on Igor, but Igor's not budging. And fucking John's just getting a bit frustrated, so he just lets him go a little bit, and then they go to tie up again. This time, John Davidson, instead of the waist lock, he puts the full Nelson on, and Igor is in the full Nelson, but he's like fucking flexing his fucking biceps as he's in it, and then he breaks it like that, kind of, which pisses him off a bit more. So it's like, I like the start, the whole fucking like pissing the heel off because he's not really doing anything to him kind of thing. And then John Davidson's like, okay, you want to fucking, break the full Nelson, put it on me. So fucking John Davidson like lets him put the full Nelson on. And when Igor puts it on, he fucking just rams his fucking head forwards into the turnbuckle. So he's got him and just fucking, which was quite a cool spot, to be fair. And then John cuts him off for a little while, puts a nerve hold on him a little bit. Then he gets him into it like an arm hold type situation. Igor, Igor, like, he's in the arm bar, but literally shows his strength again by just literally like pushing him off, almost like a push down like situation. Like real good, like fucking power. Like, even though they're both big guys, they're just showing the fucking face is basically more powerful than the heel, which is obviously a good story to tell. And so they get and then John Davidson, the heel, puts the fucking headlock on. So he's I'm trying to see where the fuck. I know what I've written. I'm trying to understand what the fuck I mean. So he's got the headlock on by John, who rams him into. He's got the headlock on, then rams him into the corner somehow. But I says it's got like no effect on him. Then he tries it again. I don't know what the fuck I mean when I wrote that, but he tries something. It didn't work. So,
like a sort of like a bushwhacker battery ram type thing.
Oh, I think that's actually right. Actually, yeah, I think you're fucking. I'm glad you know what I wrote.
I can imagine Igor, in that situation.
Yeah, no, now you mention it, yeah, I think he did fucking no sell it a couple of times actually. And then I think that's what happened. No, yeah, I remember now. So he gets his head into the headlock, rams it into the corner, and there's no effect. Igor's like, fuck that. And then he does it again, but instead of actually being able to do it the second time, Igor pushes him off and he takes the buckle. That's what happened. There we go. And then Igor's in control. I've even wrote here. I've actually wrote fucking right in front of me here. I've wrote. I like Igor because I think Igor's a fucking right good character, and I quite enjoy
that IWA stuff from the sort of mid '70s and around the Carolinas.
That's where I've
seen the Red and the fucking Love Brothers and shit. Brilliant.
Yeah, brilliant. That's where I've seen him from. Yeah. And then like not long after this point, John's brother gets involved and causes a DQ, so Igor goes over with the DQ. But it was enjoyable though. It was really enjoyable, I thought. Like a nice slow kind of match, not a lot to it, but simple. But the crowd were a lot more lively for this one than they were for the previous one. The next bit is they go to a Chief J Strongbow promo. I've seen a bit of Chief J, like, here and there and stuff, and I've always enjoyed what I've seen. Not like he's not like one of my. I wouldn't put him fucking, as one of my favorites to watch, nothing. But I always thought that he was fairly believable. Like this promo came across as very, like he meant what he said. It was like I think he was in an angle with someone called Bulldog Don Kent.
Yeah, Don Kent. Yeah. I don't think I've seen Don Kent, to be fair. I've never heard somebody that I read about when I looked into this promotion.
Okay. Well, at the time, I didn't know, like, too much what was going on, but like it was quite a long promo, and you could like Jay Strongbow doesn't come across as a fucking great promo guy, but it's just like it's just the way he was talking as if he would talk like to you, as just in person, like it's like it wasn't a promo, if you know what I mean. He was just talking like fucking like it was real, like he wasn't trying to
How personal.
Yeah. And there was some sort of shit going on with Don Kent where he'd fucked him up or something, and Strongbow, like he injured Strongbow or whatever. But it was just the way Strongbow was looking at the camera, like right into the camera, like saying how he felt, and it was like fucking real believable stuff. And then the next match we go to is actually Randy Scott against that Bulldog Don Kent.
Right.
So this match was good. Like I thought, fucking the crowd were loud as fuck. So they do the tie up, they go into the corner and they give it a clean break, and then fucking Bulldog does the headlock takedown. They keep going to the leg scissors. So Bulldog will do the headlock takedown, and fucking Randy Scott will get the fucking head scissors on him, from the headlock takedown. And you'd usually like kick out that, wouldn't you, like, or whatever, but he just keeps the head scissors on, like, like on the ground, like a fucking submission type situation. And then he's got him ages in the hold. And the crowd, this is early on. The crowd are screaming, like fucking screaming. Like this is the third match, and they're so fucking loud. It's unbelievable. Like Bulldog gets out of the head scissors bit, and I was a bit confused at this point because it made sense, but like a little bit later on. But the Bulldog's a heel, and all the crowd are like fucking barking and making dog noises, and I thought it was like to fucking show support, like as you would, because he's a fucking dog. Yeah. But not long after that, into the match, they're doing it to like piss him off, because you can visibly see Bulldog fucking like covering his ears and telling them to shut the fuck up type thing. So they're doing it to mock him, basically. Yeah. At the time, I was like, he's a fucking heel, so what's going on? But I got it in the end. Goes back to the head scissors. And then I wrote here, there's a right good spot. So let's see if I can remember this one. So, that was it. I remember this. So he's got him in the fucking. He's on the floor. So Scott's on his back. Fucking Bulldog's got him like by the foot, like he's gonna work the leg or something. Now the spot where you bring your knees back and kick him off or whatever, and he'll go through the ropes and he'll hit the ropes or whatever. So they do that. The referee's like down on kind of all fours because he's checking fucking Scott who's on his back or whatever. So if you can imagine, it's hard to explain, but he kicks Bulldog off. Bulldog comes back. Scott's still on the ground. So he gives him like, the monkey flip thing. So he like literally flips over him. But not only does he give him the monkey flip, the referee's on all fours and he fucking flies over the referee. And the referee's like, fuck it. You know what I mean? It looks so good. That time as well. You didn't see shit back in 1979, like that. But like I thought he was going to collide him with the ref. And I think maybe the ref actually kind of fucking ducked out the way. I think he was just getting up and seen him like midair and fucking like skid under him. But it looked pretty smooth, to be fair. I was quite impressed. So they do that spot. There's a point in it where Bulldog takes his collar off because he's wrestling with like a dog collar on, and he'll put it in the corner, and then he'll keep using it throughout the match, like just to fucking nail him in the fucking guts and stuff like that. Chin lock by Bulldog. He gets Scott fights back, fucking whips Bulldog into the corner, gives him a massive fucking backdrop, looked beautiful. And then Scott's in control now. Then the collar's used again by Bulldog. He keeps going back to that collar. And then he nails him, like when the ref's like behind the ref, he nails him with the collar again. This time fucking Scott goes to the outside through the ropes after being fucking clonked with the collar. And then they're both outside. And then they end up getting counted out, like a double count out. But like the match itself, I thought was decent. but I think it was just like a story kind of driven match. The whole crowd were chanting fucking like fucking Strongbow, like the whole fucking
Right,
way.
yeah.
They were
So
all
they all
chanting.
knew the story.
Yeah. Like I thought he was going to come out during it, but he didn't. But they're all chanting his name, especially towards the second half of the match. They were literally.
Seems like an odd finish to do, considering Don Kent's right in the middle of a big story.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. You'd have had him go over, surely, wouldn't you?
Yeah. I didn't go
Or
out with somebody that means nothing to the story, at least.
or have fucking Chief J come down and fucking DQ finish or whatever the case may be. But yeah, for him not to even appear and then just a double
Still
DQ.
lose. Yeah.
Yeah,
It doesn't really push the story in any direction, does it?
no. And then a year later, they're out of business, hey? So,
Oh, yeah.
you know. So,
I suppose a year later, Strongbow was on some of them early 80s house shows that we've watched, wasn't he?
yeah.
I don't think he was in quite a high position, but because it would have been before that they were like tag champions for WWF. I'd have thought. I know, fuck knows, but I'd have thought. I would imagine.
All right. Well, anyway, the fourth one isn't really a match as such. What they do is they go to Japan and they show footage from a match in Japan with the Sheik and Abdullah against the Funks.
Right.
So they don't show the whole match. They literally, I ain't wrote a lot for it, like Funk and Sheik start, and then the next two fucking come in after that. Then Abdullah's got the fork out as usual, fucking stabbing people, fucking in and out, back and forth, and there's a lot of brawling. Not really a lot to it. Then it just like kind of cuts off, and then they go back into the studio where they're talking to the people in fucking Detroit. So yeah, that was generally that was it. That summed up the show. So yeah, it was different. Like the first match, I think was extremely poor, like very, very, very poor. The second match, the second match I quite enjoyed, and the third match, the one with Bulldog, I thought it was decent. I thought it was an okay match, but I can get like the ending, like we were saying, is a bit odd, but I can get the story. Like it was more like to see what's going on, because I guess he had a match with Strongbow.
Yeah, he must have at some point, mustn't he?
Yeah, but so yeah, that was.
I like my first one best. Al Zero and Gary Fulton, I think it was. Yeah, it was good. That. I don't think I'm going to go rush and buy the fucking DVD box set, but you can't say it's bad because the fucking reactions were there,
Well, that's it, innit? And if the reactions are there, you're doing something right, aren't you?
Yeah. And to do that from whatever it was, fucking 64 to 50, 40 something, wasn't it? 1940 something to 1980, then something's got to be isn't it? Can't knock that.
Oh, yeah.
50 odd years, 52 years or whatever the fuck. Can't knock that bad boy.
And the crowd were fucking loving it, though. The crowd were loving it. Apart from the first match, couldn't give a fuck. But generally, yeah. So.
I've not watched enough Bobo Brazil to know what the score was with him. But after seeing that, clearly a fucking huge babyface.
Oh yeah, I've not seen much of it.
I think we all know the reputation of Bobo Brazil, but I don't think I've given him enough time ever. I've probably seen him on the odd tape here and there or whatever, but nothing.
Yeah.
Enough. Nothing I've studied, sort of thing.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah,
like by far the biggest babyface on that Bauer TV. Wild, like fucking, like rock star kind of heat. Mad.
Yeah.
Friday Samoans.
Yeah.
I've picked me. I had a look through the old YouTubeage. I've got 4 different teams from 4 different promotions, all Samoans.
Cool.
Monday, Don Morocco.
Boom.
And Wednesday, before you picked this last week, I had some like a promotion in my head. but I'm
Right.
thinking it might be a bit similar to this. So
Right.
I've swapped it, and I'll save that for another time because I don't want it being, you know, because I'm thinking the one that I would have picked might be a bit rough, might be a bit sort of cheeky, you know,
Right.
a bit
'Cause
twitchery.
I've got one in my. I know what one I'm picking for, like my next territory. I know it's a way off yet, but I'm just thinking that I don't know. When you say it might be similar, I've got an idea it might be, but I don't know. So we'll see what one. We'll see what you say.
But instead of the one that was similar, I'm gonna go with St. Louis, like
All right. Okay.
Wrestling at the Chase. It was called, you know, the TV was called, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
Sam Muchnick in it. Like there's put NWA, sorry, St. Louis Wrestling in fucking YouTube. There's millions of them, and
Right.
I've got a few DVDs of it as well, and it's really good.
Yeah.
Most of it was from that Chase Hotel, because that's where Sam Muchnick had his office.
Right. Okay.
And that Wrestling at the Chase TV show was kind of revolutionary because
It was. Yeah.
it was tables and chairs and fucking people in suits and, you know, having posh dinners watching the wrestling. It just seems really fucking odd, but you know, it is what it is.
Yes.
Yeah, everyone kind of went through there, and a staple for the NWA because like Sam Muchnick was like one of the early NWA promoters, like a pioneer of the NWA. So yeah, that's that for next week. And yeah, we'll pick your tag team after the Samoans on Friday. Bosh.
Brilliant.
We'll be back for the Samoans. See you then.